Well, good evening, and thank you for tuning in to another week with Fathers Who Care. You know, we had to take a moment just to pray and give God some glory tonight. So listen, it's been a good day, been a very good day. I've been a little bit under the weather. Folks around me been under the weather, but I'm going to be okay because I'm going to tell them to go somewhere and get some soup or some tea or something. But listen, tonight we have a special guest. You know, we had initially scheduled for our Senator Don Harmon Pro Temp of the 39th District to be our guest this evening. But because he had so much to do in Springfield and there's so much going on in the state that we had to go into our secret weapon, and then we had to get the chief of staff out. So we do have our very own Eileen with us, and you know, when we can't get the senator and her time is amenable and she allows us to, she actually comes in and she'll sit in and talk with us and give us some of the various information, some good information about the state of the state. So listen, you're watching Fathers Who Care this evening, and as always, what we want to do with you this evening, we want to talk about some different things going on in the state of Illinois. One thing we know, we have a new governor. Okay. We have a new governor. Don't everybody call in at once, but we do have a new governor. And things seem to be moving already. I've heard talk about the budget already. I've heard talk about this. I've heard talk about new legislation. I've heard talk about the minimum wage. I heard talk about this. I just hear some good things going on in the state. So I say it's best that we get in touch with someone who can give us the real up-to-date facts on what's happening in the state of Illinois. So we say, let's call our senator, our very own Don Harmon, who's always available, who's always open, who's always doing what he can to empower the community, specifically on the west side of Chicago. And of course, he couldn't get with us tonight. So I said, Eileen, what are we going to do? And Eileen said, well, you know, here am I. You know, if you need me, I can step in for the night for the senator. So we said, right on. So we have Eileen with us. So tonight we want to take this show to another level. We want to use this particular month about public awareness. The month of March is about public awareness legislation on still how to empower the community. And then we also want to take this time and dedicate this month to loving somebody, forgiving somebody, and supporting somebody. No drama march.
Okay.
Say it, no drama march.
No drama march.
No drama march. Now, if you got drama, wait till April. Leave it alone. So this evening, let's talk specifically, Eileen. Let's specifically, you work for a senator, and that senator is Senator Don Harmon. So tell us a little bit about the senator, and then after that, tell us a little bit about you and why are you so passionate in the work that you do, because you're always everywhere. And I really appreciate the work that you're doing. You really have a heart for what you do. And you know, I know you. I personally know you from the community and from being in the circles. But tell us a little bit about our Senator Don Harmon, and then tell us a little bit about you, and then let's get into some of this legislation. I know you told me you got some things you want to share with us in relationship. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was the gun legislation. I think it was some information about, is it true? Did he sign the bill for the minimum wage? Did he sign it?
Yes, he signed it.
He really?
We have a new law.
So it's not 825 anymore?
No, well, it'll be phased up.
It'll be phased up.
Yeah.
So it's going to be phased up to, well, you can tell us about that later.
Okay,
You can tell us about it.
yes.
Tell us a little bit about the senator, and then tell us about you, and then let's get into some of this legislation that the viewing audience is just anxious to hear about. You're watching Fathers Who Care. Of course, our guest this evening is the Chief of Staff, and none other than Senator Don Harmon. So here we are now talking to Eileen Lynch. Please talk to us.
Thank you, Reverend Jones.
No, it's my pleasure. Always.
My pleasure to be here, and Senator Harmon says hello to your
Thank you,
audience
sir.
and to you.
All right.
Senator Harmon is in his 17th year.
17?
Representing, sixth term, 17th year.
All right.
Representing the 39th District, which the map has changed through his tenure, but currently that includes the west side of Chicago, Austin, Galewood, and 12 other communities out on a northwest trajectory to O'Hare Airport. So an amazing district, diverse interests, diverse people, diverse industries. He actually got promoted. He is now one of the assistant majority leaders. He's no longer pro tem, assistant majority leader.
So he's not pro tem.
Not pro tem any longer. He was promoted to assistant majority leader.
So what do that mean?
That means he has increased responsibility within the
Okay.
caucus.
So he's assistant majority leader.
Correct.
Oh, that's good.
Correct.
That's good.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. He has a diverse portfolio of priorities, but
Mm-hmm.
he has been long time active on environmental protection,
Mm-hmm.
gun violence prevention, human rights, civil rights, government reform, government accountability,
This crazy thing.
and
Please.
budget stability, if you will, fiscal responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
in addition to many other priorities. But those are some of his top priorities.
So you heard it here. So now we're going to talk specifically about you. So who is Eileen?
Eileen is a mom, first
Mm-hmm.
and foremost. I'm committed to my family.
Always smiling.
Always smiling.
Always smiling.
I try. So I'm a joyful person, and I feel very blessed by God and by our community that we share.
Yes.
And those two heartfelt commitments really empower my work every day. For Senator Harmon, I am largely responsible for community outreach, liaison work with the stakeholders, including Fathers Who Care and the West Side stakeholders, as well as stakeholders throughout the other communities, the local governments and municipalities, school districts, and I run the constituent service office. Which,
And the office, I have to say this. The office has a spirit to it. It has a warm spirit to the office. Anytime you go into the office, folks are pleasant. It's a good smell of caffeine in the place.
that's for sure.
I mean, you can smell the freshness of it. All right, you know.
all right.
You know, I mean, people are upbeat. You know, I mean, it feels like, you know, people are welcoming you there. I mean,
Oh,
you know,
wonderful.
some place you go to, people be like, yeah, what you want? You know, they're not friendly.
Mm-hmm.
The office is extremely friendly. All right.
That's a very high compliment. I take that.
No, it's a fact. It's a fact.
That's wonderful. That's what we aim to do. We are there as a front line to help people with everyday problems involving the state. That can
Okay.
be Secretary of State licensing requirements or state payments for child support. Really any interaction with the state that is troubling people and helping to direct them to the proper officials or get them the input and the advocacy that they need to lead their daily lives.
Okay. So now you heard. Now the office is located on, what's the address?
North Avenue, 6941 West North Avenue,
The
in Oak Park.
That's the district office.
Yes, that's the
Okay.
district office.
Now, if someone wanted to call the office and talk to staff, someone in the office, what would the number they call to get in touch with someone over in the district office?
You can reach us at 708-848-2002. And you can communicate with us as well. Call anytime, but we also have a web-based portal at www.donharmon.org,
And so
where you
this is
can
the
communicate
website
your
too,
concerns
right?
through a web
Right.
form, if you will.
Yeah. So this is they can come on here too, right?
Right, the contact me. There you have it.
Absolutely.
There's Springfield, and emailing Senator Harmon.
Okay. So there you have it on that.
We
So-
work with the senator to make sure questions get answered through
Okay.
that web portal.
So, you know, I really want to comment. I really want to talk to you about a few things this evening. But the phone lines are open, so call us in at 312-738-1060. We got a few things that we want to talk about tonight. One being the increase in the minimum wage. Is that law?
That is law.
Okay.
It will be phased in up to $15 by 2025 over the next 6 years.
Okay.
There are legitimate concerns about the absorption of new costs from the small business perspective in particular, so the legislation was sensitive to that.
So that's
But
2025 though, right?
Right, for $15. It's going to be phased up incrementally.
Okay,
And
okay.
it had not been raised since 2010.
Wow.
So it's a long time
Come on.
coming, a long time
Come on.
priority
You know it's
for working
needed.
families.
You know it's
Absolutely
needed.
needed,
Come on.
absolutely needed. So that is a huge victory. In addition, that is a state victory for everyone
Absolutely.
across the state and enjoyed Senator's longtime support, of course. In addition, in his own personal legislative
I know there's something
history,
that you had been talking to us about for a while.
Yes.
I know there was some information that the senators was extremely involved in relationship. I think it was gun law.
Exactly.
Okay, well, tell us about that.
Senator Harm is a longtime proponent of multiple gun violence prevention measures, but most especially including a increased certification requirement for lawful gun dealers. 40% of the crimes used in Illinois are purchased within Illinois. Therefore, there's been some point of illegal trafficking between a gun purchase and a crime.
Okay.
And background checks or training for employees, increased auditing and certification requirements for dealers will help to cut down on those illegal purchases, straw purchases. Guns come from out of state. There's nothing we can do if someone goes and buys,
Right.
a
Right.
trunk full of guns elsewhere. But within Illinois, we can work to save lives and prevent crime, make the streets a lot safer.
So what is the Senate bill number?
It was 337, and it was signed into law in January.
Okay.
It was passed last session and vetoed. A first version was vetoed by Governor Rauner, and then a second version was expected to be vetoed by Governor Rauner. Because of some parliamentary details, we were able to hold the bill over to this new session with
Okay.
Governor Pritzker, and it's now
Okay.
signed into law. But I want to point out that Senator Harmon had been pushing for these changes for 16 years.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
it's a huge victory,
Absolutely. And he's
really
been
one
consistent.
that will be
He's been consistent on this issue, right?
will be hugely meaningful for the streets and neighborhoods that we are in every day and that we worry about from
Okay.
everyday the scourge of everyday gun violence.
So are there any pieces of legislation other than these two that you would like to share that the senator sponsored or co-sponsored before I hit you with this thought?
Okay.
And that thought I want to bring to you is, what is the state of the state in relationship to the possibility of legalizing cannabis for recreational use for adults? That means that there may be some conversation and or possibly legislation legalizing marijuana. Is that right?
That is right, and I think there will be legislation. The governor has been very clear about his desire to see that happen.
That is an inaugural.
Yes, throughout the campaign
Yeah.
and since, and there are ongoing negotiations and pending legislation. The details have not been filled in to this point entirely because of these negotiations, but there were bills last year. We've had a look at this, and the two legislative leaders on these points are Senator Staines and Rep. Cassidy. And the discussion is very much ongoing, as is the concern, too. This is a huge change, although we would not be the first. About 11 states have legalized marijuana.
Yeah, but most of them been kind of modeling Colorado.
Correct, although there are concerns, too, with the way things have rolled out in
Right.
some of those states. So I think the negotiators currently, their aim is to do better and to learn lessons from those other states.
So the
certainly.
pulse is there.
The pulse is there, and the
energy is also behind
some of the
it.
related licensing
Yeah.
fees and revenue pieces were included in the governor's budget as well.
So here we go. Let's open it up. Right now, what are your concerns? What are your opinions about the legalization of marijuana for recreational use for adults? Are you for it? Are you against it? Do you care? Should we legalize marijuana? Now that we have already legalized marijuana for municipal purposes, right?
Right.
So that means medically folks can get a card and go purchase this marijuana, right?
Correct.
Now we're talking now recreational. Now I know there's a lot of things that they got to iron out, all of this board stuff and all that other good stuff. And I know they're probably in the process of doing that. But for the purpose of this discussion, what are you guys who are watching the show this evening, what are your opinions? Do you feel that we should legalize marijuana? Should we not legalize marijuana? So what is the pulse? I wouldn't want to put you on the spot, nor the senator, but what is the state? How are they juggling this thought?
Well, if
this
I could speak
legislation?
to the broad priorities,
Please,
it's
please.
absolutely for adult use only and would be governed by some of the same parameters as we know now for legal use of alcohol. 21 and older, driving while impaired would be illegal.
Okay.
Public use would be illegal. Landlords, municipalities, business owners would have some leeway to set their own prohibitions on use as they
Okay.
were to see fit. And there is concern about how this would impact our young people. And I think there's also the knowledge that marijuana is currently on our streets and in our neighborhoods. So if we can move to a regulatory regime, we can make everyone safer. And
And then there's talk about the expungement possibly
Right.
of class 4 felonies for those who've been previously convicted of handling marijuana or the
Right.
sale or something to that effect.
misdemeanor,
Yeah.
the broad category of misdemeanors.
Right.
Yes, there has been a movement afoot on the criminal justice side that we need to take a look at this issue, and we've criminalized this area to the detriment of communities and families
So
by
now-
over-criminalizing the use of marijuana, if you will. In 2016, we decriminalized the possession of small amounts of marijuana and made it a civil offense.
Should
So-
we legalize marijuana? Go ahead, I'm sorry. I
That's
just had a
okay.
moment. I had a
I'm
moment.
eager to hear from the community
I had a
myself.
moment. So now,
But
now, go ahead, though.
The other thing, so the restorative justice components on the criminal justice side, but also on sharing of any economic benefits that are to be had from this change.
Like taxes? Or you just talking about the revenue?
But
Okay.
also jobs and industry will be created. You know,
Okay.
we may have a black market now, but we would have a legalized.
So what would happen with the black market? Would it stop?
Hopefully it would stop.
You think?
Right. I think anything in high demand.
So let me just ask
we'll
a
see.
hypothetical. Let me ask a
maybe have
hypothetical because I don't know. All right, but let me ask a hypothetical. I've seen the containers that they're selling the medical marijuana in it right now, and they got so many different names. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing all the names they got for all this stuff. But however, now would it be would the price for the, let's just say for the marijuana, would it be higher than what they buying on the street, or would it be cheaper than what they buying on the street?
I don't know. I would think it would be. I assume it probably would be higher, but it would be legal.
And be taxed.
Yeah, it would be taxed,
you
and
can
there
go
would
in-
be
you can
certain
go in-
guarantees.
You can go into a
There- I mean,
dispensary and get it, and you know that this ain't been tampered with.
right. There
Right,
would be
okay.
there would be safety protocols that would be followed
Okay.
to the benefit of the consumer
And you don't
to
have
the
to be
public.
looking over your shoulder for the police.
Right.
You can just go in there and say, "Give me this one," or
Right.
"Give me this one."
I mean, I'm no expert on the market economics, but I feel that those guarantees would be worth it to the public.
Well, I've been in a dispensary, and I was kind of taken by how this thing is set up. All right? I mean, it's real laid back kind of place, you know. And then they have this like showroom, you know, where folks can literally go in there and purchase the stuff, right?
Right.
And so I think personally, you know, be your own judge. What do you think? Do you think that we're ready for that? Do you think that that's a way to increase revenue? Do you think we should legalize it? Do you think we shouldn't legalize it? What are your opinions? That's what we're inquiring about today. I mean, it's obvious that many states are doing it, all right?
Right.
And it's obvious that the governor has already agreed or showed an interest. But folks are talking now, and that's a good thing. The community is talking. Would you please talk to us? Let us know your opinion. And if you need additional information, you can get back in touch with Fathers Who Care at 773-287-5821, 773-287-5821. Or you can also get in touch with Senator Don Harmon and let Eileen know what you're thinking and what's your opinion. I mean, it's okay. You can be anonymous on it. We just want to know how you're feeling. The number at the Senator's office is 708-848-2002. And also just get in touch. Now on April the 11th, we're doing the 11th, 15th, and the 25th district. We're collaborating together to put on a Promoting Love Beyond Boundaries. So it's an event against domestic violence. So we're bringing all of these districts together to show love. And then we're going to go back into doing the different work in the individual districts, but we're bringing the West Side districts together. And also on, I think this is on the 15th, next Friday on the 15th at Chicago State University, that's going to be an event entitled The Women's Connection. It's against trafficking, women trafficking. It's against reentry and all that other good stuff, HIV with women and all that, and it's going to be at the Chicago State, so that's some additional information for you. Now let's go back to you. So tell us, if you will, how should one, matter of fact, what is the budget this year? What's the state budget now?
Governor Pritzker has proposed about $39 billion budget.
Okay.
It is a new day in Illinois. We
Yeah.
hope to put the budget battles and budget chaos behind us. It is a budget that funds education.
Thank God.
Right, with increases in early childhood, K through 12, higher ed, and
Which we almost lost them.
Right, the broad human service safety net.
So that's going back to DHS. Increase in
Yeah.
DHS. Okay,
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
good,
the
good.
providers, right, frontline providers. And then it also attempts to tackle, we still have significant budget challenges. There's a budget deficit. We are about $3 billion short, if you will. We are taking in less than we're spending. That has to be dealt with.
Right.
And there is a residual
So are you
backlog
thinking-
of bills.
So are you saying something about increasing taxes? Are you implying that?
Well, there
Is
needs
that-
to be
is that what you-
reform on the tax side.
Okay.
And you know Reverend Jones, Senator Harman has also long championed fair tax reform.
Right.
Moving the state of Illinois to a graduated progressive income tax system instead of the current flat tax,
Right.
which is regressive, which requires or imposes the same rates on households, whether they are higher income or lower income.
Okay.
And Governor Pritzker is putting the fair tax reform effort in the driver's seat for sure. And they announced rates just this afternoon. But we feel that over the long term, that will definitely give Illinois the fiscal stability to deal with ongoing budget pressures.
What's new in the district?
New in the
Yeah,
district.
anything that's new in the district to empower families or empower young people? Should young people vote? Should parents vote? There's an election coming up,
Right.
and there's gonna be history made again
Right.
in Chicago.
Right, right,
There's gonna be a new mayor,
right.
and that's gonna be a woman.
Right. I feel I've been in politics for 25 years. I feel like as if there's tremendous new momentum around young people, around women, and some of these huge issues. We are in the midst of a cultural revolution around.
Should they vote?
Absolutely.
Oh, you got a
vote.
caller. Let's get a caller. I guess
okay.
they've been holding it down.
Oh.
Caller, you on there. We got a few minutes, and we got to get back to Eileen because she's sharing so much information. But go ahead with your call, please.
Yes, good evening. This is Miss Griffin from the South Side, and that's in my area with the 6th District and the 5th District. Chicago State. What day and time is that again?
Oh, you're
It's going to be from 9 to 2 on the 15th of March.
Very good. I'm going to get that information out to my neighbors to make sure that we're there.
And call my office, Miss Griffin. Anything you need, just call us and let us know. Miss Griffin, we talking about the legalization of marijuana. Should we do it or shouldn't we do it? Should the legislature vote to legalize marijuana for adult use or should we not? What's your opinion?
I think we should not, and I think it should be a subject that should be discussed further.
So you're
Okay.
thinking there needs to be more communication before we start legalizing. Talk about it first, right?
Exactly.
Okay. What do you
Exactly.
think?
Thank you much for accepting my call.
We love you always. We love you.
Oh, okay. Bye now.
All right.
I think she's not alone in expressing that concern.
Okay.
We have very significant concerns about substance abuse in our communities, in our country. One piece of legislation the senator worked on, and that has also just become law, is a alternative to opioids bill.
With marijuana, right?
Yes,
Okay.
allowing those who would otherwise receive an opioid prescription access to the medical cannabis program. Simply put, cannabis is an alternative for many of the conditions that lead people to need these prescriptions for opioids, but
Okay.
it does not have nearly the detrimental health impacts of opioid addiction.
Which we have in Chicago.
We have in
There's
Chicago, so this-
796 deaths this
Right.
year.
It kills more people than guns, opioid addiction.
Come on.
So we are in the midst of a new debate around drug use, around criminalization. Who do we need to put? Who should be in our prisons or not?
Right.
And I also think we have to look at this with a commitment to funding other third tier supports around mental health training, mental health services. Try to really attack this cultural situation in a multi-pronged way.
Well, Eileen, we're at that time where we got to wrap it up. So can you give us a closing statement to the audience on what you think? First of all, please encourage them to vote.
Absolutely. Voting is your voice is your vote. You can change the course of the future. It's so important to be there on election day. If you have any inclination to get involved up front, you should by someone that speaks to you and your priorities.
Vote your
But we
conscience.
have incredibly low voting rates in America.
I mean, did you see that?
It's crazy.
Did you see that?
Right, it's crazy.
That was insane.
Right.
Literally
Right.
insane. So, but now, also now, if folks are interested in the issues of legalizing cannabis, they can get in touch with your office or their elected officials, correct?
Correct, yes.
So we really
Speak
want,
up.
yes,
Absolutely.
speak up. And we
Right.
thank you so much, Eileen. We thank you all for watching. We know that y'all been listening, but if you need additional information about these activities, give us a call at 773-287-5821. It's been fun, but we got someone else coming on next, and we just got to get on out here and get to the next deal. But God bless you, God keep you, and keep doing the good work. And remember, Don Harmon, Senator Don Harmon of the 39th District, this is his Chief of Staff, Miss Eileen, that's my girl, for real, she's good people. And if anytime you're in that area, if you live in that area and you need some support, go into the office and you'll see. God bless you. Good night, and we'll see you on the other side. Oh, next week it would be Congressman Danny K. Davis. He would give us a state of the federal government, and it's been a comedy show
Correct.
on the federal level.
Don't miss that one.
It's been a comedy show on the federal level. It's been rather peaceful and subdued on the state level. But we're going to keep on pushing, and then after that week, we're going to have the state of the county as we go into the lot of months. But anyway,
Okay.
God bless you, and we see you, Eileen. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're so
Thank you.
sweet. You're
Oh,
always,
thank you.
always, always. Listen, we'll see you the next week. God bless you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.